We're excited to bring you coverage of this last weekend's events. It was homecoming here on campus, so we had quite a few teams in action. We're going to turn now to Brian Katten. Brian, we had our volleyball team have quite the weekend. What were some of the highlights?
Well, this particular weekend, the Cardinals played Friday night and a couple of matches Saturday afternoon, all in non-conference activity. Wesleyan went 2-1, defeating a Southern Vermont squad that came in with a 17-2 record, and then took on an 18-5 Western New England and a 17-7 WPI. So facing some very formidable opponents, and Wesleyan won 2 out of the 3 matches. Most consistent performer was middle hitter Monica Leslie, as she hit at a solid .367 percentage, which basically means that just about 1 out of every 3 times she hit the ball, it was a kill. And it was facilitated by a pair of setters for the Cardinals, as they used both Brenna Tharnstrom and Claire Larson in different matches, and both of them performed very well. So with Monica averaging about 3.5 kills per match, or per set rather, and getting a lot of good outside play as well from Kim Farris and Laura Volchino and such, the team came through, and it was a confidence-building weekend more than a performance weekend that will facilitate them when it comes to tournament time. So if we're going to start with explaining, we have 4 teams that are vying for NESCAC tournament play coming up, one of whom has clinched. The men's soccer team has locked up at least a home game. But with volleyball, they are on the cusp, as it would be. They're actually sitting in last place, but with 1 match left against Hamilton, and a victory there might indeed be enough to propel the team into the 8th seed and get them into the tournament. What it will require is an upset that the Cardinals have no control over, and that will be Bates against Trinity Friday night. Bates will be hosting Trinity. If Bates is victorious, that will knock the Bantams down into a spot, but it also catapults Bates into a tie with Wesleyan and Colby. This is also assuming Colby doesn't win either of its matches over the weekend. So it's a real kind of scattered situation, but the Cardinals do know that they have hope when they take the court on Saturday against Hamilton. If Bates is victorious over Trinity on Friday, Wesleyan has a chance. Unfortunately, if Trinity wins, then the likelihood is we're eliminated.
All right, perfect. A lot of pieces in action for them to get in, but we'll see what happens. Moving over to the soccer fields, both our men's and women's teams were coming off some tough losses to Conn College. Our women took on Amherst this weekend. What happened in that game?
Well, the Cardinals lost in overtime against a team that's ranked 10th in the country, had just 1 loss coming in. Wesleyan took it to them. The shots were decidedly in Amherst's favor, but the basic style of play was pretty consistent. I know that top scorer Laura Kurash had a good scoring opportunity during regulation play in the first half. Amherst escaped that. Really good goaltending play by both goalies. Ava Meredith has gotten into the scenario now of splitting contests with her 2 goaltenders. Jessica Tolman seems to play the first half. She's the returning starter from last year as a sophomore. And Rachel Hobart, the freshman, is playing mostly in the second half, and she did actually continue into overtime against Amherst, and the Lower Jeffs did capitalize about 3:15 into overtime to get the game winner. But essentially this is against a team that's probably one of the best in the conference. So coming off a 3-1 loss to Conn that really could have decimated the team, they brought it back and fought very well against a very formidable opponent. So give them credit for that. They are, as volleyball, on the edge as far as NESCAC tournament play is concerned. They haven't qualified yet. A win against Trinity tomorrow afternoon would help them considerably. The other contest that will really determine their fate is Bowdoin at Tufts. And in that, we need Bowdoin to beat Tufts to keep Tufts below us in the rankings, assuming we win against Trinity. A loss by us against Trinity or a win by Tufts against Bowdoin will knock us out.
All right, and we also had our men in action this weekend. Another great performance by Adam Purdy in goal. What were some of the keys to that game?
Adam Purdy was definitely the key to the Amherst tie, again facing not just a highly ranked team, but a number 2 ranked team in the country, coming in undefeated, and Wesleyan, of course, coming off that 1-0 loss to Conn College, very unexpected. Conn, one of the teams that Wesleyan had dominated. I think they came in with 13 straight wins, and against Conn, that is, and we didn't expect that game to get away from us. We hoped we were just going to build on the momentum of that contest right into Amherst with a Little 3 showdown, as the winner of the Amherst Wesleyan contest was going to take the Little 3 title. Of course, Wesleyan and Williams had tied, Amherst and Williams had tied. What were the odds that Amherst and Wesleyan were going to, oh, of course, we just knew it was going to be a 3-way tie, and this is the first time since 1932 that all 3 Little 3 men's soccer games were ties. So, not that there haven't been 3-way ties before, but it's mostly 1-1, 1-1, 1-1, where one team will beat the other and around the corner sort of situation, not just ties. Adam Purdy had a career-high 10 saves, and 10 saves in a college soccer game is an incredible number of saves. Adam came in averaging like 2 saves, 3 saves a contest. He just gets very well protected. I was there for the final portion of the game and saw him stop Spencer Noon, who was the top scorer for Amherst, on basically a clean 15-yard shot from the left side that Adam came out and cut down the angle and took the shot full force against his body, and the ball just ricocheted past Noon in the air after he hit it. So it went about 20 yards back over in the same direction it came from. That was the game right there. A moment later, Wesleyan had an opportunity to score as Brandon Sosa had a great shot from the left side that trickled by the keeper and hit the right upright, came back to the middle. There was Rory O'Neill, who had scored the tying goal in the 66th minute, got ahead on the ball, and somehow the Amherst keeper, lying on his back, grabbed the ball as it was bouncing over him and kept it a tie ball game. So Amherst 29 shots, Wesleyan 12, so play a little bit in Amherst's favor. But if you can tie the number 2 team in the country, which had given up 1 goal all year, Amherst came into that game having scored 39 goals and allowing 1 goal in 12 soccer matches. That's unbelievable play. So very uplifting for the Cardinals to come away with a tie and a piece of the Little 3 title.
Yeah, it's definitely a boost for them heading into postseason play. What are their prospects? I know they've already clinched.
They have clinched either the 3rd or 4th seed, so they will be home on Saturday the 27th. We do not know who they'll be facing. At this point, 3rd seed would put them against the 6th seed. It's going to work its way out as to who's 5, 6, 7, and 8 in the NESCAC rankings. The top 4 have pretty much been decided as far as who's going to host, other than the fact that Bowdoin and Tufts are going at it to try and determine that last home contest. Wesleyan would prefer that Bowdoin wins that game to make it much easier for them to secure the number 3 position. A Bowdoin win would lock up a 3rd seed for the Cardinals, even if they were to lose to Trinity. Going up to Trinity has always been a tough time for the Cardinals. They've played some great games up there, and we've played some not so great games up there. We're hoping for the best. The weather's not supposed to be as convenient as we might like. They're calling for showers, but it's played on grass. We'll see what happens, but at least they will be home, and they'll be looking forward to that. It's pretty much the way it's been for a number of years in a row that Wesleyan has had a home tournament game to start the NESCAC.
All right, we'll definitely be looking forward to that. And to conclude our recap, we also had field hockey and our crew teams in action.
Right. Jumping into field hockey again, a disappointing loss to Conn College 2-1 in overtime. Taryn Murray got the goal for Wesleyan about a minute and a half after Conn College had gone ahead in the first half, but it was an unevenly played contest, but Conn just capitalized on an opportunity in overtime, and it really kind of dejected the Cardinals. So it knocked them down a notch in the playoff structure. They went up against Amherst again, as it was for men's soccer, with a winner-take-all for the Little 3, as both Amherst and Wesleyan had beaten Williams going into that contest. And you can't have ties in field hockey, so whoever won the game was going to be the Little 3 titleist. Amherst scored with about 6.5 minutes to go on kind of a scramble play in front of the net, and the Cardinals with a couple of corners thereafter, a couple of great shots taken by Ashley McLaren, but good pad saves. The Amherst keeper had 11 saves in the game. I think Tori Redding needed 3 or so as Wesleyan outshot Amherst 22-6 as an indication of how the play was really controlled by the Cardinals, but they just couldn't find the back of the net to pull that out. But they too have locked up at least a tournament play. They could be as low as 8th. They could be, I believe, as high as 6th. You don't want to be 8th in the NESCAC tournament. Middlebury is going to be the top seed. They're undefeated, 13-0, 9-0 in conference play. They're going to beat Williams in their final game. They're number 1 in the country, and they beat Wesleyan 4-1 here at our place during the season. So Coach Patty Kletcher-Porter is hoping that a 6th or 7th seed is coming up for the Cardinals. Win over Trinity on Wednesday, and no doubt will be probably 6.
Right.
But a loss with Williams and Conn College in the mix for those last couple of spots could cause trouble.
All right, and over to the water. The crew teams were also.
Well, they were in their most prestigious event of the year, which is, or of the fall at least, the Head of the Charles in Boston. As I read Pat Tynan's, the women's coach's explanation of it, with, I believe, over 300,000 people spectating this event with 9,000 crew members rowing over the course of the 2 days. It is the single largest event of its kind in the world. And Wesleyan competed in the Collegiate 8, which is very competitive, but it's for the college teams that are below IRA or Division I status. Williams, the Bates, the Coast Guards, the Trinities. Wesleyan on the men's side was 8th in the Collegiate 8. They were 6th in the Collegiate 4. And on the women's side, both crews came through 8th in both the Collegiate 4 and the Collegiate 8, and the coaches are very pleased. So at this point, it's been a very successful fall for both the men and women, and they finish up this coming weekend in Saratoga, New York, at an event that they usually do very well at, which is the Head of the Fish.
All right, we'll look forward to that one as well, and thanks for giving us the rundown on the postseason play coming up for our athletic teams.